condolences and to say that we, as his former colleagues, are actually with the family. We grieve for the family, and we pray that they get strength during this trying time. We only know that God is, we can not do much, but we pray for them. And we pray that God condoles the family and gives them the strength to be able to, to go through this trying moment in their lives. Secondly, Madam Speaker, I also want to say that I'm very grateful for the opportunity the people of Samburu North have given me as a second term member of parliament. It was so grueling to go through the last election and campaigns, but with their trust and their confidence, they gave me an opportunity to serve again in this house for the second time. And I want to assure them that during these 5 years, I will endeavor more, even than that what I did last time, to ensure that equity prevails in that particular constituency, because it's a cosmopolitan constituency, and we have already started trying to ensure that every single interest group in Samburu North will enjoy the very few, very sparing resources that are available at our disposal, but we ensure that they all gain from our wealth of experience of distributing resources equitably for the benefit and for the welfare of our people in the North. Thirdly, Madam Speaker, on the Building Surveyors Amendment Bill, I want to support this bill. I want to say that it has come the right time. I know the people, many of my colleagues have already spoken about it, but I want to add my voice to say that where we have a problem is because of the many mushrooming buildings that are coming up and which are not being taken care of. With the advent of the county government, resources being devolved to the grassroots, so many people who had no opportunities before even to access those resources are able to access the resources, either through employment, because of the many senior staff in the county and the counties who have now opportunities even to get mortgages, and even others who have, other tenderers who have bidded for construction, and they happen to build now houses, they build either public or private. Now buildings are coming up, which is very important, which is very, very good, which is very encouraging. But I want to urge those ones who are responsible, the surveyors, the professionals, the architects, to ensure that no opportunities are allowed for any kind of unprofessional way of constructing buildings, because it has become shameful. Houses are becoming a death row. They have been killing people every now and then, and because other people are also building and they want to rush to cash up the tenants. They want to cash up with the tenants, as many tenants as possible. And many tenants also cannot afford very expensive buildings to rent. So sometimes the landlords will ensure that, especially in the highly densely populated areas, say for example where the Uri comes from, the constituency of Mbakasi, and even other places, outlying places in Nairobi. I don't know whether those buildings, they don't catch the eye of the professionals, because you see buildings are going up and they are not done well, and then at the end of the day, they just collapse, even before they are completed. So I want to argue that if we put a bill and it becomes an act of parliament, we want to urge the enforcers, law enforcement. This country has never lacked the laws. It has never lacked laws. The problem is implementation, enforcement of the law. So we want to urge those ones who are responsible for this county government, national government, Department of Ministry of Planning, and Ministry of Fiscal Planning and Lands, to ensure that they enforce the law, to ensure that we don't lose more lives again, and we plan well. Even planning itself is very haphazard. buildings are coming up in a very haphazard way. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I want to say I support this bill, and I urge the stakeholders to ensure that they implement if it comes an act of parliament, or if it's the bill is amended, because
things have not bore any fruits. And I think what we do as a country, apart from being shameful, Madam Speaker, that somebody can go into a particular area, kill people, injure several other people, and the same police continues to earn a salary, continues to occupy an office. Madam Speaker, we need to come to an level as a country where we evaluate and pay police based on how many cases that are properly investigated and prosecuted, Madam Speaker. It doesn't make sense that if you look at the way in a police station, like community police station, if you look at the cases that the police have so far been prosecuting, are very minor cases of drunk and disorderly, very minor cases of women arrested selling and brewing busa in Changa. But cases like murder, cases like robbery, none of such cases lives to see the light of the day, Madam Speaker. I dare even say that those police officers, they are using these cases, they are using these murder cases as a way of bargaining for bribes, from the negotiating with the criminal gangs, so that they can pay them and cover up with this investigation, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, we need to come to a level as a country with the current democracy in this country, with the enactment of the new constitution, with the enactment of various laws that protects the lives and property. We need to ensure that once we have murder cases happening in a particular area, such policies need to be moved to different areas so that they can also be investigated, because it doesn't make sense that 3 months down the line, when the killer group that is suspected to be support land defense forces and the other militia groups that are mushrooming, we have Chanjawit, at times we hear of some other defense forces that are coming up, that the police need to crack down, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I urge the House to deliberate these matters and maybe come up with suggestions that are going to put this matter to rest, I want to conclude by saying, by passing my heartfelt condolences to those who have lost their lives, the 42 people who have lost their lives, their families who are living in fear now, that as we deliberate on this matter, Madam Speaker, we need to, the Commissioner, the Inspector General of Police, he needs to move with speed to first transfer the police officers, to transfer the security agencies that are manning this area, so that we can restore public confidence, who are now have no confidence in the police for this community constitution, Madam Speaker. And as I conclude, I wish to ask my woman rep, Bungoma County, I'm properly guided, Madam Speaker, and ask the House to adjourn so that we can discuss this matter, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Barasa, you do not need a seconder for this nature of a motion. And I already said that each member will have 5 minutes to contribute. Let's have Honorable Wahungu Wamalwa Kiminini.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, first and foremost, I want to thank Honorable Didmas Barasa, Captain Retired, the Member of Parliament for Kimilili constituency, for bringing up this motion of adjournment. Madam Speaker, people have died. We have a right of life, Madam Speaker. First, we want to condemn those people who are behind this ugly incident. Indeed, Madam Speaker, it's the responsibility of the police to take care of its citizens. The cardinal responsibility of any government, Madam Speaker, is to take care of its people. This is the highest time the Jubilee government must wake up, Madam Speaker. We are speaking right now, we don't have a committee on national security. And I want to urge Honorable Didmas as we move on, if the Committee of National Security will not have been constituted, you have a right, you can move and form an ad hoc committee to look into this matter. I'm saying this, Madam Speaker, because the history of that region, once a time we had a force called Sabot Land Defense, which went around beheading people, cutting the ears, Madam Speaker, and we are getting worried. You know, I represent Kiminini constituency, which is neighboring, Madam Speaker, and of course our origin. We originated from Bungoma, particularly that Kiminini constituency. We've had relatives who have suffered, we have had relatives who have cried, and this is the time, I'm sure the IG is listening. When the IG, with immediate effect, the police force that is there, first it should be transferred. Madam Speaker, when the security force overstays at a place, they collude with the criminals, so that whatever the proceeds that come out, Madam Speaker, they share. That has to be done immediately. And for those people who have lost lives, Madam Speaker, the government should compensate them. And that's why you are saying these committees must be in place. And if I told the committee is not going to be in place, Honorable Didmas, through the leader of majority, we should move quickly, form a committee, another committee on this, because it has happened before and we cannot wait. When I look there, I can see Major there, who has been in the military. And it will be nice for him to be on that committee to provide these skills so that those particular people who are killing the people of Bungoma, this must be brought to book and it must be brought to an end, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the 42 people who have lost their lives, we send our message of condolence to them. And Madam Speaker, the place he has mentioned of Jebuk, he has mentioned, I'm told even Chesamis, where we originated from. We've been told of a place called Mwanga, whatever it is. This particular issue should not be tolerated. It is the highest time the police force, wherever they are, the Inspector General, whom I have a lot of confidence that should move with speed and clear that area. Madam Speaker, Article 37 of the Constitution is clear that you are free to picket and demonstrate. When the NASA Brigade has been demonstrating, Madam Speaker, the police force has been overwhelming. Why is it now, instead of taking care of their lives, they are prioritizing battering people when it comes to demonstration, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, I've seen it. The police, when they hear smell of changa or busa somewhere, they'll move there very fast because they know those people are not armed. It's a source of bribes, Madam Speaker. But when you tell them that you have a terrorist somewhere or you're having a murderer somewhere, they'll say, we don't have a vehicle, or this vehicle has a puncture, or this vehicle has no fuel, Madam Speaker. If they can go to an extent, the people who are brewing busa or borders, they are doing that for a livelihood, Madam Speaker. Some of us, we are where we are today because of the business of busa. These border boys, because of unemployment. I've seen them molesting these young people, molesting the busa brewer, instead of focusing on this murderer who is terrorizing people in Kimilili, who is terrorizing people in Sirisia, terrorizing people in Kandui. Madam Speaker, we want to condemn this activity and to tell the police, please, you are well remunerated now, and if at all you're not going to shape up, then you should be shaping out. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Didmas, and let's work together so that these people who are killing others can be prosecuted. I thank you, and I will support.
Member for Kapenguria.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for also giving me this chance to add my voice, especially what we are now discussing, which is so much touching. It's not a laughing matter, but we need to be serious, both as human beings and Kenyans. Before maybe I go further, I want also to join my colleagues and others on behalf of myself, my family, and the people of Kapenguria to give our total condolences to the family of our brother, Nyenze. I knew him when I came here first. He was our minister during Noah's time, and he did so very well. And we used to depend on him much, both as a leader and also the church. I know he's a Christian, and he's doing well. Madam Speaker, as we talk of what we are discussing, especially the issue of peace. This is not the first time that area is having these any problems. But now, my appeal is to the leaders, all of them, from both Trans Nzoia, especially those who are bordering that area, Mount Elgon, and Bungoma. They should come together and chart way forward. Because if they are not going to move together, there is nothing. We should not depend on police, because some of us have experienced this between the Pokoto, Turkana, Samburu, and all this. But you see now, today, as you hear, there is nothing much, apart from one area here in Kapedo, where some officers were killed the other day. We are pursuing that, and we have agreed as leaders from all those regions, Baringo and the rest, to come together and go and face these people here. But I'm saying that the killers are not, or the murderers are not unknown people. They don't live in heaven. They are just there with these people here. They are known that this is a son of so and so, and they always move with their colleagues. Even when they are attacking, I'm speaking, I'm told even some areas they are attacking in daytime, and everybody knows about that one. Otherwise, if we keep on singing about police protection, it's good that the guy who is the Mheshimiwa who has given, who have moved this, comes from that area, and he has been a military at one time. Some of us, like the Pokot, we don't want even to say military, because those are our enemies. Instead of coming and solve issues, they used to come and create more problems in the name of operation. And there's nothing they can do. You know, the other one also, most of them are here. And they know what, because it gave us also to be hardcore. We resisted and we fought them. They were fighting us daytime, nighttime we were facing them. Like my brother Luke, he knows how things were there. But otherwise, with this one of Mount Elgon, Madam Speaker, we need to come together. We pray, because God will open way. We don't want to see that young men are losing lives, the business people, and also those people, innocent blood is being shed in that area. Madam Speaker, and I want also to join and to ask, to appeal to the members and the political leaders in Mount Elgon region, specifically those areas. Both my brother who is now in, and those one who was there before, and others, they should come together and see to it that this nonsense stops. Because we are neighbors, and there is nowhere you can move your neighbor, and you cannot choose even a neighbor. Neighbor is given by God, and that's why people live together and move together. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Let's have the Honorable Member for Masinga, Joshua Mbidi. Clerks, will you?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the chance that you have given me. Although I wanted to contribute to the surveyor's bill, but let me add my voice to this killing of innocent people. It is very sad that at this age, that people are still being killed by their neighbors who have formed groups calling themselves armies of the people, enemies of the people, let me say that. And it is timely that my brother, my Honorable Baraza, has brought this motion so that we can be able to put our voice, because it is very bad to kill another person who was not sick.
Honorable Member for Bungoma, you need to do what you've just done, right? You cannot cross from one side of the floor to the other one. So go up to the
Thank you, thank you, Madam Speaker. I can continue. It is very bad to kill an innocent life rather than waiting for people to die a natural death. This thing is not only happening at his constituency alone, even in other constituencies like Masinga constituency, there are some young people who have organized themselves and they wait for the other boys who are coming from the shops at night, and they kill them. But when you report and they are caught, Madam Speaker, the police just release them even without taking to court. So this kind of killings might spread to every part of this country, which is going to be very sad. So I will also call upon the police to move with speed so that they can arrest these cases before they spread to all the parts of the country. I remember the other day, they just caught a boy and then they just cut his throat. And when I reported this to the police, I told them, I need the corporal who is there to be transferred immediately, because the boys who killed the other boy, they were released. How do you release a murderer even without taking that murderer to court, to be jailed? Therefore, Madam Speaker, I feel that it is high time that the police took actions to be able to tame such a criminals, so that our people can live in peace wherever you are, wherever you live. You can walk anytime that you need to walk in time. In conclusion, I would like
of you. So in order for you to learn, you need to go back up there and do it right. I know you are a first timer, but once you get it, then that's it. So I want you to get it right. Go on, Honorable.
Thank you. I would like to give my condolences and that of my family to the people of Kitui West for the loss of the Honorable Member of Parliament, Honorable Nyenze. It is indeed a big loss, especially for our big brother, who has been our mender for many, many years. I knew Nyenze 15 years ago, and the way I was coming up in politics, I used to borrow a leaf from him. I also used to get some advice, what I can do so that I can land here in Parliament. And I am sure some of the contributions that he gave me, some of the advice, have been able to bring me to this house. Therefore, I would like to support this motion of Honorable Baraza, so that people can be tamed in whichever way, so that we can have freedom of speech, freedom of movement, wherever you want to go. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for that time.
Let's have the Honorable Member for Njoro, Honorable Kadhambi. You have the mic, Honorable Kadhambi. There you go.
Oh. Madam Speaker, thank you very much for granting me this time to contribute on what my colleagues has raised. I actually wish to have contributed to the surveyor's bill, but let me say something on this. Before I proceed, Madam Speaker, let me say that much of the condolences to the lost member of Parliament. Majority of people are mourning with Kitui West constituency. Actually, we are mourning as a nation. Let me contribute to this special motion. Madam Speaker, I want to start here to bring blame game on the police officers. I'll just start by saying this is the high time criminals are called criminals, and the criminals must face the law. We have realized there are so many illegal groupings which are causing a lot of killings in this country. It is the high time for the intelligence team to wake up and to do a lot of research, so that even we can have precautions or preventions before the actions take place. And Madam Speaker, according to what has been said here by honorable members, it will be also be very crucial for this House to constitute or form security committee, which is going to enable the members of parliament to come up in different ways, or we contribute so that we tackle different matters affecting the security. It is true, peace is paramount in this country, and the right of life is important, and it is considered in our constitution. Therefore, Madam Speaker, my main issue is not blame game on police officers. Recently, Madam Speaker, even we have lost a lot of property, a lot of people, even during NASA demonstrations. Therefore, this is the high time each one of us took a responsibility to make sure that we all contribute to peace and good livelihoods for everyone. Madam Speaker, I don't have a lot. I wish to say thank you for this moment. Security is important to all of us. Thank you.
Member for Turkana Central.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. I want to join my colleagues to send my condolences and on behalf of Turkana Central to the family of the late Honorable Nyenze and the people of Turkana, Kitui West, for losing a dedicated servant of this country. Madam Speaker, I know him because he has served this country in several capacity, being a DO to the level he came to the parliament. Madam Speaker, to join the rest of members on the issue of the killings that is taking place all over this country. Madam Speaker, we have become a lawlessness country, and we need, Madam Speaker, to reinforce our laws so that the culprits who are doing this, Madam Speaker, can be brought to books. I want to give my sincerely condolences also to the people of Kiminini for what they've gone through, and I joined the Member of Parliament, Captain Retired Barasa, for raising this issue. Madam Speaker, I'm also a victim of the same. Madam Speaker, 4 days ago, 5 people were killed in Capedo. Terrible. Madam Speaker, after 2 days again, they raided again Lomelo. Madam Speaker, yesterday, again, they raided Capedo. Madam Speaker, it has become too much that one area can experience 4 raids within 1 week. Madam Speaker, people of Capedo, they don't sleep in their houses. They eat and they disappear to the bushes. Madam Speaker, if we can live in such kind of life in this country that we are independent, and we have police, we have army, we have all kinds of security officers, and the people of Capedo are not sleeping, Madam Speaker, we need to wake up. We need our security agencies to stand and start looking for the culprits, whether it's a Turkana, whether it's a Pogot, whether it's a Kikuyu. A culprit, a robber is a robber, a thief is a thief. So, Madam Speaker, we need our security agents to start looking for those people seriously, because we have lost faith in our security agents, because this person has died, nothing has taken place. The person has been killed, nothing has taken place. So, Madam Speaker, we want our security agents to win back the confidence that they had some years back, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, along Kitale-Lodwar Road, every day we have an incident of somebody has been killed, the driver has been shot, somebody has been taking the money. Along that road, Madam Speaker, we have almost like 3 agents of security there. We have a JSU, we have a P, we have a police. But Madam Speaker, every now and then, Kainuk to Kitale to Kainuk Road, Madam Speaker, is terrible. And the security agents are there. They are not doing anything. In fact, as Mheshimiwa Omalwa said, whenever they hear something like a raid, they will not go there. When they hear that there is something like a Busa or the border people, they rush there because they know they can get something. Madam Speaker, we want to challenge our President, Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, as he thinks to appoint the Cabinet Secretary for Interior, he must go for somebody who has done military course, either a retired major, either a retired colonel, because, Madam Speaker, giving someone like Matiang'i this docket, he can actually miss this country. We saw the few days he was given in charge of that docket. What Matiang'i did, Madam Speaker, it was terrible. So we are telling the President, get a pastoralist. A pastoralist can perform duty on security issues very well, either Turkana or a Maasai or a Pogot. People who know to handle gun. Never give people who have never been handled gun, like Matiang'i. Don't give him that docket. For those remarks, Madam Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Let's go to Honorable Member for Bungoma County, Honorable Wambilianga Nanjala.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this chance once again. I stand here first as the County-woman MP for Bungoma. I would like, first of all, to send my message of condolence to the lost lives, to the bereaved families for losing their loved ones at this point in time. These were innocent people who have just been killed out of a known thuggery that is ongoing and is still a mystery to the people of Bungoma. 2 days ago, we lost 11 lives in a place called Masek in Chepkurkur. Among the lost lives, we actually had 3 children who belonged to one woman. The same woman was raped together with her son and her daughter. And as I speak, they're in critical condition, struggling for their lives at one hospital in Bungoma town. 2 weeks ago, in the same village, 2 people again were killed. These are cattle, these people who sell cows, we call them machurus in our village. They were killed, just brutally like that. As I speak, so far, nobody has been brought to book, having been condemned or discovered to have been the killer. That not stopping there, again, 2 weeks ago, we buried 2 people from a village called Kimwanga, where the killings were done at about 11 o'clock in the night. When one family was attacked, as these other 2 went to rescue the family, they were slashed and killed in that event. And as I speak, we even visited that scene with the Senator of Bungoma, the Honorable Moses Masika Wetangula. But what came out clearly from the residents was the people who are attacking these people were dressed in police uniform. And when the residents tried to approach them for help, that is when they were being slashed and killed. The big question here remains that, are these police meant to guard people or just kill people? And on that note, we demand that the police of that station be transferred with immediate effect, because they don't seem to know their work. Even after being called to come and rescue the residents, it took them almost 2 hours. And yet the police station, that police post, is almost just like 200 meters away from where the killings were happening. So if we have such, that kind of police force who do not care about the residents, surely do we have any protection as residents? The people of Bungoma are worried, the women are worried, they are no longer peaceful sleeping in their houses. The county is hurting, and we are wondering what next. Again, yesterday, in line with what has been happening, at least we had our governor and the MP for Mount Elgon swing in action straight away. They visited and they had a security meeting. We hope something is going to be done. And before it's even done, this House, through the Honorable Didmas, like you've been urged by one of the members, please swing into action and make sure that we get that committee, or we get to that committee, so that some of these problems get solved. In a village called Maeni again, the same killings went on and nothing has been done. The biggest question we're asking is, we have the county commissioner, we have the security teams in place, we have the police, but even after every killing, we never get these killers. Even if we have militia groups, these militia groups should have been brought to book, but nothing so far has been done. I only want to urge the County Commission of Bungoma, together with other security agents,
Wind up.
to put in place the security teams so that anytime we call upon them, such matters can be resolved amicably, because we are tired of such killings. Not only stopping at that, our border borders have been killed indefinitely, randomly.
Honorable Member for Nandi County, Chebet Tum.
Allow me to convey my condolence to the family of the late Honorable Nyense. I know it is painful for the widow, the children, and the entire residents at such a time. Mine is to say, may the peace of the Lord, which surpasses human understanding, be upon all of you in Jesus' name. So, for this motion, it is saddening to know that 42 lives have been lost in Bungoma. Widows have been created. Widowers have been created. Children have lost their lives. And we know it affects the economy of this nation. And the children who are left behind are not going to go to school because they have lost their parents. I want to say that it is good the commissioner have convened security meetings because the commissioner is in charge. And we know that criminal gangs have been in existence. It is not a Jubilee creation. Somebody said something concerning Jubilee government. We have noted there are many criminal gangs in this nation, even during the time when Raila Odinga was the Prime Minister of this nation. So we are to sort ways of dealing with the problem, but not blaming anybody. So what we want to say, first of all, we have to note the root cause of the problem. You have to treat the disease before dealing with it. So the politicians from Sapaot and Bungoma have to lead in bringing peace, reconciliation among the communities. We cannot blame the police. I know they are doing what is required of them, but we are to I'm on the floor, and I have a right to say that I know they are doing it. So I'm saying we have to dig deeper into the issue. Yeah, so that's why it was brought to this house. We have to inform the two communities, and we have to look at the root cause. And what I want to say, I know life is sacred. We are not happy when we lose our people. But we are supporting this motion, and we are calling upon the residents of Bungoma and Sapaot to reconcile. And the leaders are in this house. They can come together and they go deeper so that the problem can be resolved. So I support this motion, and we have to look into ways of dealing with the problem.
Honorable Joyce Kamene, member for Machakos County.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. First, I would like to send my heartfelt condolences to the family of Honorable Nyenze and the entire people of Kitui West. And then come back to the motion that is at hand. I wish to condemn the happenings in Kimilili in the highest terms possible. Human life is sacred. And the biggest responsibility or the greatest responsibility of the government is to protect its people. Words cannot even begin to explain the horrific, the sad and shameful incidents that we are hearing about rapes. One would imagine what the villagers or what the people in those areas are going through. I'm sure even the children in those areas are traumatized. And that is why the police, the security, it is unbelievable to hear that even after 42 people, and I'm sure more than that, have passed on, the police have not been able to come up with any person that has been caught or any case at hand. One wonders, why are they there? There should have been some transfer so that we can get people or security, police who will tell us exactly what is causing these happenings. We need security. We need protection. We need to feel that all of us are Kenyans and that we are equally protected. I want to congratulate the MP who brought this, the member for Kimilili, this motion, and I urge the government to take action. And I beg to support this motion. Thank you.
Honorable Jeremiah Kioni, Darago.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to contribute to this motion. And allow me to, first of all, convey my condolences on behalf of my family, the people of Dalagwa, the people of Nyandarua, to the family of the late Nyense and the people of Kitui West. We want to condole with them. We have known Honorable Nyense, and we know how much he has contributed to many issues in this country. And on the same breath, Madam Speaker, let me also pass my condolences to the 42 people of Kimilili and others in that region and other parts of this country who have lost their lives because of the behavior of people who do not want to obey the law. Madam Speaker, back in during the 10th Parliament, I was a member of the Defense Committee, and together with the Committee of Internal Security, we visited this area. That is the time that we had a man by the name Matakwei, who had really terrorized that area. And we went, having been sent by the National Assembly then, we did the investigations, eventually recommended the need for an army camp that was sent there to clear the difficulties that were in that area, for the reasons that the police had been overwhelmed by the defense force led by Matakwei. And there's a lot that we can say because there is a lot that we came across when we went to that area. But one of the key things that I think is important to us, even as we debate this thing, without doubt, we discovered, or we were informed, or we found out that all those difficulties were happening because there was a political hand in them. There were politicians who were directly involved in the organizing, and unfortunately those groups started maiming others. And it was horrible, horrifying, and really worrying. And it scares me, and it's for that reason that I wanted to speak to this motion. I want to thank the member for Kimilili, Mr. Mheshimiwa Baraza, for bringing this up. It worries me to think that the Kenyans in this area could be subjected to this kind of torture again. Madam Speaker, one of the things that I think could help, because this motion talks of many things, including the issues of development and LAPE. And I don't know whether members are aware that in our courts today, 60 to 65% of the cases that are being prosecuted on a daily basis relate to LAPE and defilement. And I think it would be important for us to even think about it perhaps at another because it's a major problem in our country, and especially in the smaller towns, like the one we have in our place called Nyahururu. But Madam Speaker, what I want to say is that even as we leaders think through this issue, let us also reflect and ask ourselves, like I've said, there were politicians who were involved at that time. But even as we go through it now, we also need to know whether we are creating an environment that allows criminality to thrive within our areas. One of the shortcomings that is there with the prosecution is that I had a small stint with the DPP's office. And what happens is that the prosecutors, they have introduced professionalism with the introduction of the DPP's office. The prosecutors are now lawyers, quite a number of them young lawyers, and they are doing very well. But all the police officers who are involved in gathering the evidence and producing the evidence in court report to the OCSs. They don't report to the prosecutors. For that reason, the police officers really mess up the evidence. For the reason that either they don't want to be called to the courts many times, I didn't know 5 minutes are such a short time, or the reason that they do not want the perpetrators to be caught. So even as I stop saying much, I think one of the things that we need to do is to get the police officers involved in prosecution reporting to the prosecutors, and two, we need to come up with a law that's going to get these culprits caught. Thirdly, I do not think that these conflicts are in fact necessarily inter-ethnic conflicts. When you talk about the conflict in Kimwanga, all the people of Kimwanga are essentially the same people, that assume that people who go from village to village or home to home do know the locality. Maybe they are not from very far indeed. This is just criminality. I liked what Mheshimiwa Kioni said. There may be an angle of collusion by people who organize this, if there is in fact organized crime, if it's syndicated type crime. But that's exactly what the police must unravel. They might unravel and say, in fact, this thing is politically organized. This thing is organized for a revenge that occurred some time ago. This is organized out of greed, whatever the case might be, but they must be explained. It can't just pass and then we move on. That's not an acceptable thing to do. I don't see that anywhere in our law where you should say, when you have a case of this kind, or just forget it, go and pray and let the thing pass, God himself will punish them. Yes, they might punish him. Those fellows might live to 100. God doesn't take them away that quickly, and we can't accept to have that continue. I think we really must stand firm. We should come out clearly and identify the weak spots in this system. Mheshimiwa Kiona, again, to quote him, what he has pointed out about the weakness in the reporting system, the DPPs, I think that's one way of beginning to think about how this should be tackled. Lastly, Madam Speaker, we must have a way in which we get a feedback on how many cases have been unraveled, how many have failed, how much money has been used. People have talked about loss of property. Each time we talk about this, they jump from loss of life to loss of property. I think the hierarchy of importance, it's loss of lives, that's far important than loss of property. Both need to be protected in due course. But let's not mix those two. Let us get this police service to be accountable. We saw them as a police force during the demonstrations. If they can be a police force, let them be a police force in dealing with crimes of this nature. Madam Speaker, this is a very, very important motion, and we must tackle it head on. And I would like to pass my condolences to the many people who are affected in the death of the 42 persons that have been identified in this House. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Kevin Wanyonyi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think I'm a worried person because I come from Trans Nzoia, and this happened in Bungoma, which I want to say that when I sneeze, they get the cold. If they cough, we get the cold the other side. So we are very close, and therefore whatever has happened in Bungoma is something that I cannot take lightly. So I've sat here to be able to contribute. But in the way it is, and I think let's get right, talking to Mheshimiwa Honorable Barasa, I think I want to thank you for bringing this at the earliest time possible, because we ignore this and it gets into a very nasty area, so that cannot be able to get out. So I want to thank you, Honorable Barasa, for coming up with this at this early opportunity, and we all speak about it, we condemn it, and therefore my condolences to those 42 families or more that have been affected, I want to say pole sana. I will personally be involved. As Mheshimiwa Chris Wamola said, I've got to agree, if we don't have the committee of defense, then we can go have an ad hoc committee to be able to look into this. It's not a small matter. It can degenerate into something else. I know it's not political, because talking to Honorable Barasa, he has assured me it's not political. It's not tribal as such, but that this militia group that is going around, knowing that, of course, we have a problem of unemployment, the youths are getting themselves organized, and you've heard from the contributing members here, organized to be able to do these heinous things around, and therefore, we want to arrest this situation at the earliest opportunity possible. Honorable Barasa, that's very good, because now today people are living in fear, Madam Speaker. People are now, the thugs are taking advantage. If they were not there, they're taking advantage. As somebody has mentioned, some of these things are being done by the people in the neighborhood. Because how would you go, for example, to a place you don't know? So these are areas that we got to go and get hold of it. And therefore, also, as Honorable Barasa said, the police in Bungoma should have a transfer. Because we are talking about 42 families, very innocent. Some of them are now moving from where they are to other places. You'll have internal displaced persons, because you move and you don't know where you're going. I can assure you. Because if it happened to me, I don't know where I'll go. Okay? Maybe at my stage I'll be able to know what to do. But the families, we're talking very poor families. Therefore, Madam Speaker, something should be done to the area police heads that are there. Heads should roll, or move them to other places, because they are not being responsive. I had a case here, and Madam Speaker, I'm not talking politics here. I had a case here where I was actually welcoming His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, and I saw policemen throwing stones at the vehicles. I can't believe it. So people are showing, either out of lack of training, I don't understand how a policeman would take a stone and throw to destroy the property that he is mandate supposed to protect. And therefore, those who are there, and I think you are right, we should have a move to ask the IG to be able to see if we can have these people transferred. Because very soon we'll have people who are internally displaced because they don't know where they are going. Yeah? And I can tell you these days, with no incomes around, business now in that area has been hampered. People are not doing business. And because now, if they can go and kill a M-Pesa person and somebody who is actually Mujurusi, so what is happening? Like what Honorable Catherine Ombia said, because they are killing anybody inside. So we are saying, therefore, that something should be done, and be done quickly. Remove the police that are actually in that area, transfer them some other places, let them know that we get some other people who can do the job better, and then, of course, be able to undertake the activities that can be able to help those families. With those few remarks, my condolences to the families, and we hope we'll be able to come up with something, and we'll be able to follow up this before we go to the next session, which is a recess that is coming in a few days. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Ojiambo, member for Funyula.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand to condole with my colleague. Coming from Busia, we are neighbors with Bungoma, so whatever happens in Bungoma affects us in Busia directly and indirectly. But I must hasten to mention that the criminal activities, the killings, the maiming, the rape, and the rest of heinous crimes in Bungoma are becoming predictable. Often we listen to the news, often we get reports on the ground of murders, invasion of private properties. Generally, this issue needs to be addressed once and for all. In the year 2005-2006, as Honorable Kiona has mentioned, the Sabot Land Defense Forces visited and told suffering to the people of the constituents and Bungoma as a whole. We hope the killings that have occurred now will not spread and cover the entire Bungoma areas and spill over to Busia, to avoid loss of life, to avoid intimidation, to create a state of fear in the people and generally continue to destabilize the lives of the people of the constituency and the larger area of the former Western Kenya. But obviously, again, it presents a very bad image of our police force. If you can be overwhelmed by militia, a ragtag group, a gang of criminals, where has the special branch gone to, the ones we used to know? What has happened to intelligence gathering? To a point that there are 42 families or 42 people have been killed, it's not by accident. There is systematic planning to commit these crimes. There's obviously a lot of investment put to commit these crimes. Where are the intelligence services? Why can they gather information and prevent these attacks? As Honorable Bunyas has said, it's the low-trodden people in society who suffer most in the event of organized criminals. There are those small, hard-working traders, small, hard-working people who suffer most from these kind of crimes. A government that cannot support or protect the most vulnerable in society is a government for all practical purposes that has failed or abdicated its duties. We call upon the Jubilee government. It would seem the police service is no longer independent, has become an appendage of the Jubilee government, to literally get out of the comfort zone and deal with these minor and shameful activities. It does not help to commit all the massive police resources to tear gas innocent protesters. It does not help to mount all those police services, all the police, the GSU and AP, to shoot innocent children playing on the balconies. Yet there are very many people in many places who get killed for no apparent reason. In my own constituency, in the run-up to the fake election of 26th October, the Jubilee Brigade unleashed untold suffering, untold violence to innocent people who heeded the call not to participate in an election they didn't want to participate. We reported these cases all the way to the county security system, and up to now, your guess is as good as mine. Nobody has been apprehended. They stroll the villages, boasting how they're under good protection by the Jubilee government. This level of impunity, this level of don't care attitude needs to stop in the police service. We need to put the police service to account for the activities, for the resources we have pumped into the police service. It should not be resources going to waste, should not be resources that are only employed to deal with political disagreements. Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I sympathize with my colleague, Honorable Baraza, and wish that action will be taken. Thank you.
Okay, honorable members, we are running out of time. I have two more members to whom I'll give 1 minute each. Honorable Waluke, 1 minute. There you go. There you go.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Because of time, I just want to appreciate Honorable Barasa for bringing up this important motion. Madam Speaker, I come from Bungoma, and this thing has been happening in Bungoma for quite some time. You remember 2004, until the Deputy President of this Republic of Kenya, who came in to save the situation about the cutting and killing of innocent Wanainji, and it was there in a big swing until the government got concerned. Madam Speaker, the killings and cutting of these people, we need to come out clearly to say it openly as leaders from Western Kenya. I just want to thank my colleagues like Bunyasi for their good contribution. And as people of Bungoma, we need not to hide. We need to say openly
As politicians, as representatives of people, we need to say the truth. This thing is there. It is real, and it is manned. Those groups, we know them, and they are financed and manned by politicians. We need to say that. I remember one time I've been with a member of parliament from Mount Elgon.
Wind up, Honorable Waluke.
And I wanted to go to record, Madam Speaker, it's just because of time. But this thing is manned, those people are paid by politicians. The groups that I have mentioned here, Land Defense Force, Chanjawit, Kabuchai Defense Force, where I think Madam a woman rep come from, that district. There is one called Kabuchai, and it is manned, paid by 2 politicians from Bungoma County. Mount Elgon is manned by 2 politicians. The former MP and current MP, they compete on their differences. And
Honorable Titus Hamala, Bishop.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'll keep my time. I just want to actually support Honorable Barasa, and my prayers are with you and with the people of Kimilili. Madam Speaker, I just want you to know that I am from the neighboring Kakamega County, and Bungoma are our brothers and sisters. My main concern is when there's when the area is not stable, instability in Mount Elgon and Kimilili areas. In Kakamega, we won't get food, especially onions, tomatoes. That is a food basket that must be protected by all means. And there's people in Bungoma, and especially Mount Elgon and Kimilili